I guess let's get started. We are Clemes and Clemes. I'm Roy.
I'm Henry.
There we go. Any questions or anything like that you guys want to start with us, or should we just pop into it?
I know that personally, I love the Roy and Henry show. By far, my favorite parts of Lambtown is seeing both of you, especially in matching outfits. Kira actually commented that it's not a fiber show without Roy and Henry in their matching outfits.
There you go. You're welcome in that case, right? So, we got started, and actually this guy got started back in 1970. We started making spinning wheels. I should say he started making spinning wheels.
Yeah, you weren't around.
I was not. They weren't even married yet. So
I thought about you.
That's right.
Yeah.
So my old man here started making spinning wheels. Then we got into hand carders, drum carders, all kinds of things like that. And through the years, we've made just about everything that you could possibly make out of wood. And especially in the fiber arts, we've made just about everything. I came along in the mid 80s, and things were still going gangbusters with fiber art equipment. And then things slowed down a little bit in the late 90s. So we diversified our business a little bit more. We were into a lot of different wood type products. So some people who have been around for 30 years may not know us and think of us as newcomers, but we've been here all along. We've been around for 50 years. And so we really got back into it in the late 2000s, 2008, 2009, we started getting back into this. And now it's just the two of us. We went from, we started out just my dad and my grandpa, and then we went to about 30 employees, and when things were going really well, and have survived a couple of depressions, recessions, whatever it is you want to call it now, and we're back to just the two of us. And other than this year, we like to travel the country. We do about 12 shows every year, and
120 days on the road.
Yeah, he sees the road more than he sees home.
That's why I get along so good with him. He's never around.
That's right. He's my personal driver. Like I say, he just drives the trailer from place to place for me while I fly in and fly out. So yeah, I mean, that's where we're at. We like to teach typically. I think on this year's schedule, we had about 400 students that we would have been able to teach. That's just not happening this year. We aren't out at all those different fiber festivals. And so, it's been tough for us trying to adjust to life with the virtual format. But here we are, and, we're happy to do so.
And I have to give credit to Roy, because he's really put the time in, put the effort in to try to swing us to virtual. And I think he's done a very good job. I really do.
I didn't even pay him to say that. So.
Yeah, well, she'll give me a hamburger on it, right?
There you go.
Okay.
So a couple of things that I think we want to talk about this year, or I should say today, is just what makes us different. I know a lot of fiber equipment companies, they know how to make fiber equipment, or they know how to make something that resembles fiber equipment. But one of the things that really separates us is this guy, I think, could walk in and run a wood mill just about anywhere else. Not a wool mill, but a wood mill.
Wood mill.
Yeah. And I mean, we're talking about take a log, a nice kiln dried log, and run it through a mill and come out with, what we call S4S lumber that's surfaced to a size and, ready to be an input and eventually turned into one of these bad boys. And so I think that thing that really separates us is we know how everything should be all the way through the process. We can start with a tree and turn it into this, right? And the same thing, like we were just talking about with the students,
right?
We know a lot as far as, growing sheep. I own 2 sheep. Dad's been a wool show judge and a sheep to shawl show judge. So we know what things should look like all the way through the process. We know how to grow fleece. We know how to grow fiber. We know what the animals look like and how they should react. So I think that's one thing that really sets us apart.
And the teaching's a big help for us. We learn from our students. And we also, I think the big thing that really separates us from other people is we spend most of our time trying to figure out what somebody needs that doesn't know they need it. Then we build it and make it. And then we have to convince them that that's exactly what they needed. And we've been very successful at doing that. The changes that we've made in the business through the years and the new products that we've come out with have most of the time hit themselves out of the ballpark, which is fortunate because that doesn't always happen that way. But I think a lot of it is listening to our clients, to the teachers, all the friends within the industry that we've made through the years. And you just can't beat that. That's a resource that's a lot of people don't have. A lot of other manufacturers do very little in the way of going to shows. Most of them don't do any teaching themselves. And Roy and I do all the teaching. I mean, you're going to get one of the two of us, if not both of us, in every class, as long as you can tolerate us.
Yeah. Well, thank you for that perfect segue. So like he was saying, we do a lot of work with our students, and the sheep to shawl team here locally. We have a really, really hardy sheep to shawl at Lambtown Festival, and one of the local teams was telling us how much time they spend on preparing their fleece during the competition. So one of the products we've come up with lately, this is called the Lock Pop, and it's a small little block. It has teeth on top of it, similar to what you would find in a hand carder, but not the same. You can see it's got curve, just like the curved back of a pair of hand cards. And here's the frontal view. And the Lock Pop, the best way to think about it is as an inverted flicker. So with a flicker, where you're going to be holding a lock on a table or on a piece of leather on your lap, and then flicking the flicker with your hand where you've got all that wrist action going on. With the Lock Pop, it's more of an up and down motion where you're opening the tip. You're just trying to get as many needles through that tip of fleece as possible and opening it up. And we found that the time as far as the handling time and opening time for getting through a fleece has really, really improved. It's gone down dramatically. So this is one of those things that we've recently done. Just like Dad said, listening to people, figuring out what they need. Whether or not they know that it's what they need, we're finding solutions to their problem.
The other thing is just to give you an idea of the amount of time that we spend on a product. It looks really simple. It's a block of wood. It's got some card cloth on it. Comes with a clamp that, that anchors it down to the table so that, everything comes complete. You can pull it out of the box and work with it.
So as you talk about it, we did get a question that's asking if you're going to demo the products. And I think that if you have the ability to demo the Lock Pop, it would be great, because I love seeing that thing in motion. And
I would love to, but there's just a time constraint on that since we have such a short time. What I will say is that in the very near future, I will have a video of that. So check our YouTube channel and subscribe, and also join our newsletter and subscribe.
Where I was headed with it is there's about 2 years development and testing in this. It seems just like a block of wood, but we've worked out the ergonomics. We've worked with different card clothing to get something that works really well at opening the fiber. And so it's not just like, grabbing any old card cloth and stapling it down. We actually put the time into the product to make sure that when you get it, it does what it's supposed to.
That's right. I think something else that we want to talk about along that same vein is our Good Clean Fiber program. And I'm holding a bag of fleece here. It's nice and getting lots of gloss there. But Good Clean Fiber is a program that we started. And basically, we're filling that gap between, we just had 2 great producers on in front of us in Shaggy Farms and in Meridian Jacobs. And there are a lot of people who don't have great marketing programs like those 2 do, where they're farms that don't have good outreach and they have issues selling their whole clip every year. And so we've filled that gap so that we are a large purchaser for them, especially, and again, not like this year, but in a typical year where we're traveling around the country, hitting about 12 different shows. That's a lot of different wool shows, a lot of different producers that we come into contact with. And so we have absorbed a lot of the supply, that excess supply that was out there, where people just didn't know what to do with all this fleece that they were creating. And on the other side, we're filling some supply for customers of ours who have said, I bought a drum carder, took a class from you guys, fell in love, but I don't know what to do with my fleece now. I bought a fleece at a wool show and I'm too scared to wash it. Or, I don't have a project that needs a whole 4-pound fleece.
Or 12.
Or 12 pound, right? Those big Corridales or a big Bond, right? Yeah. So if you want to start with something that's like a little bit of a smaller project, Good Clean Fiber is available in 2 ounces, 4 ounces, 8 ounces, 16 ounces. And if you do want a whole fleece, that's available as well. The big thing that we do is when we bring it in-house, we wash it. So it's already been through the whole cleaning process. So when you order it from us, it comes with free shipping. You open up the bag, you get your hand in there. There's no sticky lanolin or grease. There's not going to be a lot, if any, vegetable matter. You're ready to take it to your lock pop, your hand cards, combs, drum carder, whatever it is. Start processing, and you're going to be spinning really quickly once you get it. Excuse me. So we're filling that gap between these producers who have fleece and don't know how to sell it, and these people who really want to purchase fleece, but maybe don't want to purchase it in such quantity or don't want to have to go through the hassle of doing it. So, when we talk about what sets us apart, again, it's just going back to we're solving problems that people may not know they have or may not even be able to express what the real problem is.
It's worked well for us. Typically a year we pick up somewhere between 200 and 400 fleece. Even this year, I made a short run through Wyoming and Colorado to cover some of our suppliers that really had no market this year. They're so far out that they don't have anybody to sell to. Some of them don't even have internet, so that's not available to them. And a quick run netted me, I think, 97 fleece in 5 days. So some of that you're seeing already on the site. More to come through the rest of the year. I think we're close to 100 different fleece that's available.
Yeah, that was the one thing that I really wanted to show on screen share. We just had a little bit of issue. So I will say clemes.com/GCF, that stands for Good Clean Fiber. You can head there, and we have the fleece for sale page, and you just scroll down and you just keep scrolling, and you're going to see, probably 40 or 50 different breeds on there. Some are purebreds, some are crossbreeds. I know some of your favorite crossbreeds.
I love those Wensleydales.
Yeah,
you put Wensleydale into something, and
yeah,
I love it. It makes all the difference in the world. Unfortunately, I don't want to see everybody crossing.
it is nice to have the purebred
Wensleydales.
stock, and we are also members of Shaving to Save 'em. So if you are trying to fill out your Shaving to Save 'em passport, I know both Robin and Wendy, who were on ahead of us, spoke about that initiative from the Livestock Conservancy. We do buy several breeds on there, and we have bought some from Robin as well. But Caracal, Churro, Cotswold is one you really like. The
Cotswold.
Leicester long wools.
Yep, lots of Leicester.
There's about 15 or 20 breeds on there, and we've got about half of them.
Yeah.
So if you want to start grabbing some stamps or some stickers for your passport, we can definitely help you out there.
And it's already washed.
Yeah, I did throw the links for the fleece for sale, your YouTube channel, and your normal website, as well as Good Clean Fiber. So it's all in chat, so you guys can just have a quick click to get to all those places. We do have a question from Michelle. What would your recommendation be from your product line to process a merino or bond fleece? Combs or cards?
Merino or bond? You're talking two kind of different things there, and it depends on what you want to do. I think that's probably our answer for just about everything is going to be it depends. A lock pop is a really good place to start.
I'd open them on a lock pop.
Yeah.
I'd feed them through a drum carder, but I wouldn't hesitate to take them to combs if I had them. Yeah. Depends upon what you're trying to do. Do you want a woolen process? Would you rather have a worsted process? Bond is beautiful. We've had good success this year at getting a nice selection of bond. There's almost none in this country. And unfortunately, the animals are getting old, and the folks that are raising them are probably not going to breed anymore. So we'll only have it for 2 or 3 years, and then it's going to probably end up having to come from overseas again. But merino, you got a short merino, you got a long merino. Like Roy said, it depends upon what you have to begin with and what you want to make. We always like to start with what you want to make and work backwards and then get the fleece.
A lot of knitting teachers are always going to tell you to swatch, and we're going to tell you the same thing. It depends on what you want to make. So if you have your swatch, you know what size yarn you want, you know what size needles you want. Okay, now back up, because if you know what kind of yarn you need, then you know what kind of singles you need. If you know what kind of singles you need, then you know what your prep is going to be. So we're going to start all the way back at the beginning.
Right.
And so, it's like you said though, or like he said, there's a lot of versatility there as far as both of those fleeces. You know, if it's on the short side for a bond, you know, you could go either way with either a woolen or a worsted prep. But if it's like a 5-inch long bond, you're probably going to be, you know, limited to a semi-worsted or a worsted. But if that's what you're looking for, it's still something you can do on a drum carder. You can flick it open with the lock pop, put it in the drum carder, and then diz it off. And we dare you to compare what you can create from a drum carder by carding it 2 or 3 times
From our drum carder.
from our drum carder. True.
Yeah.
There is a big difference there. If you put something through one of our drum carders 2 or 3 times and diz it off, I dare you to compare that to something that comes through a set of combs. You're not going to see much of a difference, and the amount of effort and work that you're going to have to put in is night and day.
If it was a good clean fiber going in, you're not going to hardly tell the difference.
And then just to confirm, are you saying that the fleece for sale is also clean?
Yes, good clean fiber. Everything that's in good clean fiber is clean. That's really our big deal with that, is that we want you to order it. When it gets home, it's ready for you to take it out of the bag and work with it. Even the whole fleece that are there, you'll see them and it'll say, oh, this is a, like one that we really like is the BFL Clean Forest Cross. That one's a lot of fun. Those are right around 2 pounds when you get them washed. And so that's one of those where when you purchase it, you say, okay, well, I know how big, I know how much yarn I need for this project. And so if you back yourself all the way up and you say, okay, well, I need to start with about 2 pounds of fleece. Those ones, you know, when we say there's 2 pounds of fleece in this whole fleece, it's been washed. You're not going to lose anything to grease weight. You're not going to lose anything to vegetable matter. There's that much fiber in there that's usable and good.
Okay, excellent. I was unaware of that for whatever reason, even though I scoured the site, but it makes it far more appealing for me because, like many others, the washing part is not my favorite. So I love it when you guys do my hard work.
That's it. That's what we do. So I know it's just about the end of our time. I just want to hit a couple of quick things. On our vendor profile page, we have a few PDFs there. One of them is, it says drawing and show special. We do have a few show specials for this weekend, which is not something that we typically do at shows. I'm not going to tell you what they are. You have to go to the page and find out. And I'm not going to tell you what we're giving away either. You have to go visit our profile page and click on that PDF and you'll find out. We also do have a PDF on there. If you do like to wash wool or you want to take that challenge on, this guy has written a manual. It's about 7 pages long. Step by step by step, here's how much power scour you need, for how much water, for how much fleece, lays it out, makes it really simple and pain-free. So that's 2 things if you head to our profile page on the Lambtown Festival app you can find.
Excellent. You guys have a bunch of really good documents in there with information on basically a lot of the stuff that you've said so far, and I won't spoil any of the things in there. We really want you to go through, hop on the app, hop on the event, because there's a bunch of good information in there. And when I saw that you guys actually had the specials and drawing, I was like, oh, it's like the first thing I woke up and did. As soon as that newsletter came out, I was like, this is excellent. Sign me up.
Yeah, so that's the last thing I'll say. You can find us on social. We're at Clemes and Clemes, Clemes, spell it out, AND, and then Clemes again, on both Facebook and on Instagram, and then the website, clemes.com. And while you're there, subscribe to the newsletter. We'll be in your inbox once or twice a month, tell you about specials, classes, things like that.
And I'll add one thing. I'm not involved with the running of Lambtown, but I get to see all the work that goes into it. And this team has put an awful lot of energy into making this happen. And I think they've done it as well or better than anyone else in the country. And I, as a vendor, just want to say thank you. Thank you, Rigel, Brooke, Kira. You've done an awful lot of work this year. It's come out very well so far. Just thank you. It was great.
Thank you. That means a lot. We know you go to a lot of shows, so we're sure you've seen your share of them, and that really means a lot. We appreciate it, and I always love the time that I get to spend with you. Unfortunately, it's usually at shows, so it's a little bit limited since you're usually on the road, but we appreciate you coming in and, you know, basically telling us what it is and what you guys have. And I always like hearing what you guys have too, just because I really like quality stuff. And that's the only thing that I've ever seen come out of your booth.
Well, thank you.
That's the only thing we let walk out of our booth.
That's true.
We don't let it in if it's not quality. We won't let it go out the door if it isn't. I mean, that's just the way we work.
Well, we have the ability to do it. There's no reason to put something out that isn't the best. That simple.
Yeah.